This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring. For the date of
October 6th, 2010.
Today's video brought to you by YourDJLogo.com. Get your new DJ logo today.
Hey everyone, welcome to Remix Report episode 102. I'm DJ JD.
I'm DJ J Spring.
And in last week's mailbag, we had someone asking us about old school hip hop. I guess the golden era of hip hop, which I would consider like the 90s.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people, when people say golden era, it usually refers to, I think, 86, actually, which is when, like, BDP, like, The Bridge Is Over, that kind of stuff came out. But as far as for us younger guys, I mean, I just turned 30, actually. What are you, 27?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for us, it was, when we were in high school, it was the late 90s. I graduated in 98. Actually.
So this list pretty much goes from, like, 95 to like 2001-ish. So all you younger guys might have missed some of these classics.
You know what? I remember I used to be big into reggae. I still like my reggae, but I used to really be into reggae. And I remember talking to a guy I know, and he told me there was one song where he goes, dude, if you want to get respect from the people who are really into this music, you have to know this song. And I was kind of thinking about that, and is it really that easy to get respect, just to play a song from back then that not a lot of people know, but the people who are really into it know? And the answer actually is almost yes and no, because at some point, I mean, we're all too young to know certain music, but the fact that we're curious enough and making the effort to get to know the music that we missed, that does say a lot. So for you younger guys, I hear a lot of the veterans always talking shit about the younger guys, how like they've never made a mixtape on a cassette and they've never carried records. At some point, a lot of you guys will never have to do that, and I don't blame you guys because we're keeping up with technology, but you should get to know these songs at least, and they will work when you guys do play them in the club.
So this list pretty much consists of, like we said, the time frame, but the BPM range is like 90 to 107, I think, is where it ends up. And these are pretty much the hottest songs of that time period in that BPM range.
And it is a little bit East Coast bias, I would say.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like, Too Short actually isn't really popular out here at all. That's not a knock on him, because I know he's huge out on the West Coast. And I remember I was talking to Seraphine one time, and we were talking about, I mentioned some Jay-Z song, and he didn't know what it was, and I thought it was crazy. So we were curious to hear, maybe you guys from the West Coast can register, leave a comment, and tell us some of the West Coast classics that we missed.
Yeah, I could definitely be schooled in some of those. So, alright, we're going to start it off. Puff Daddy, Notorious, B.I.G, Lil Kim, and The Lox, all about the Benjamins.
And that ties in with the party break that Crooklyn Clan did, the Franklynz, which, to be honest, a lot of times I don't even play Benjamins, I just play the Franklynz by itself.
Benjamins can be tough to play because there really isn't a chorus. It's pretty much just a bunch of really dope verses, and it's like 5 minutes long, so
yeah, it's
kind of either pick your favorite verse or play the Franklynz.
Yeah, plan ahead if you're going to play the Benjamins. And you should know it's a different speed than the Franklynz, so make sure you guys know that.
Yeah. Arrested Development, Everyday People, or People Every Day. I don't know what it actually, if it's People Every Day or Everyday People.
I think it's Everyday People, but I think the Discotheque Party Break is called People Every Day, I believe. I usually play that Discotheque Party Break, and right now it kind of sounds like for every song I just play a party break instead, but that's not true.
DMX Rough Ryders Anthem, classic.
One of my favorite beats of all time.
So dope. Always gets people just immediately hyped up.
But with a lot of these older tracks, something we talk about all the time, the sound back then was just so different than it is now. The drums weren't as heavy, so you guys have to compensate. You might have to bring some of the volumes for some of these a little bit higher than you would with some of the newer songs if you're mixing in tracks like that.
Probably my favorite West Coast track of the day was Tupac, California Love. Even out here on the West Coast, I was loving California when that song came out.
And that one does get a good reaction out here too. The next one on the list is Still Not a Player by Big Pun and Fat Joe, and obviously we're talking about the remix. I would consider with this track and two others coming up on the list, Doin It by LL Cool J, and also Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See. I believe those all came out, I want to say 97, 98. Yeah. And to me, those three tracks are kind of grouped together in my mind because those tracks lasted a long time, and you can still play them now. The latter, or at least Still Not a Player and Doin It, those are tracks a lot of times might work better towards the end of the night, especially Doin It, which is a real mellow track.
I actually just played that like 2 Sundays ago, and people were going nuts over it. It was crazy.
JD and I both have been talking how there's a lot of tracks, some of the slower ones especially, that aren't on this list because of the BPM, like Big Papa, but even tracks like Doin It, a lot of times I would like to play those more at the end of the night more often, and I don't always get a chance to, but like JD told me, when you do get to play them, they do go over very well.
Really well. Another crazy hype one is Ante Up by M.O.P.
Yes. I wish every DJ
no
I wish every DJ would have had a chance to play this track for a big crowd when it was at its prime, because to me this track was hotter than any track I've ever played, got a better reaction than any track I've ever played when a track has been at its prime. And that goes for 50 Cent in the Club, which that's probably the biggest hip hop track maybe of our lives in terms of the club. But Ante Up just made people so hype. I can't even explain it, so I'm not even going to try.
Just fights instantly breaking out all over the place.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Another one that kind of has that same kind of sound, that grimy sound, Mobb Deep, Shook Ones Part 2.
That's one that we probably don't get to play that often. I mean, it's a good track maybe to switch it up and kind of be careful, because I don't know if the club owners these days will appreciate that one.
Yeah, it's not quite as like high energy. It's just kind of thug.
And make sure you study that one too, because that doesn't have a full chorus either.
Notorious B.I.G. Hypnotize. That's
one of the ultimate hip hop party tracks that always gets a good reaction when you drop it.
Came out right after he died, and it was just like huge. Yep.
And I hope you guys aren't listening to us thinking that JD and J Spring are getting kind of old, because some of these tracks have kind of lost maybe their popularity over the years. But I still, I mean, first of all, if you're doing a bottle service club, if you're doing any bar or club, 21 or over, and I'm pretty sure that all the tracks we've said so far do still go over well. Hypnotize, I've actually played that for younger crowds, and they actually do react to that too.
2 Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg tracks, Nothing But a G Thing and Next Episode, and Gin and Juice actually. All 3 really dope West Coast tracks, work really well in a West Coast set together. Let's see, an R&B-ish track, 112, a Notorious B.I.G. Only You remix. Always goes over well. Ladies love that track.
We should include another R&B one with that, Real Love by Mary J. Blige and Biggie. Yes. We named this the Old School Hip Hop list, but those tracks pretty much are intertwined with this list, so most people always play them in these hip hop sets anyway.
Juvenile, Back That Ass Up.
That's a
always
classic.
Works.
Yep.
People hear that intro and it's just instantly screams. Yeah. Awesome. Juicy, Notorious B.I.G. Crooklyn Clan and Sticky, Say What, Party Break. Classic Party Break. Jay-Z, I Just Want to Love You.
That's I would actually say maybe after In the Club by 50 in terms of hip hop song. That's probably the second biggest one of the last decade. I actually think there might not be one single gig I've played since that song has come out where I haven't dropped that. It's the truth.
Yeah, it's played all the time. Memphis Bleak and Jay-Z, Do My. That's the Do My Ladies Run This Mother.
Yeah. That one I think also has a different count. You guys should study that one before you play it as well.
A lot of times I'll just end up looping the Do My Ladies Run This, and that usually works. See, Naughty by Nature, Hip Hop Hooray, and OPP always work really well together.
You always play OPP just for a second, right, and then you drop it.
Yeah, usually I'll drop Hip Hop Hooray. Usually I'll only play the chorus, but even whenever I drop the verse, people still love the verse too. They all sing along to it, and then I'll just drop the chorus of OPP and Get Out. But those always work really well together.
I actually always play, if I play Hip Hop Hooray, I usually end up dropping the version that I actually made, which it goes up to electro. It's like a transition that goes up to, I think, 125, because usually once you get to the 100, 105 part of this list, sometimes, unless you're going to go play Poison and work your way back up, sometimes you have trouble after you get to the 105 range, so it might be good to find some transitions for some of these.
You're going to have to give me that one. I don't think I have it.
No? I put it on crack. It was on... I can't believe you don't have it.
I know. Sorry, I didn't support Jay Spring and go buy it, but, you know, maybe I'll slip you $1.
I appreciate you guys who did.
Puff Daddy, Notorious B.I.G, and Mace, been around the world. A couple other bad boy tracks on here. Notorious B.I.G, Mo Money, Mo Problems. Mace and Puff Daddy, Feels So Good. All really huge tracks.
And, of course, don't forget JD's remix of Mo Money, Mo Problems. I think it's called Sandstorm Problems, which I do have and I do play, unlike JD with my remixes.
Let's see. Ice Cube, Mac 10, and Miss Toy, You Can Do It. Another West Coast track that I think it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, really.
You know, that track, I actually remember when it came out, and I was talking to my friend Johnny Sample, shout out to him, because I thought this track was going to be huge. You can usually tell those tracks that girls are going to like. Girls, although they won't admit it, they love those dirty songs, just like the Juvenile Back That Ass Up.
Yeah.
And I thought this song was going to be huge, and it actually took a long time to hit, and it wasn't until the movie
Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance came out, and that kind of, every girl, I think, when they're born, I think they pop out with that soundtrack in their hands, because every girl has that CD. I think that resurrected also Murder, She Wrote, the reggae song. Too.
And Be Faithful was in the movie too, although not on the CD.
But that soundtrack definitely took this song to another level, and because it was on that soundtrack, I think that song's going to live forever.
Absolutely. Jermaine Dupri and Jay-Z, Money Ain't a Thing, of course. Method Man, Redman, The Rock Wilder.
And that song probably goes good with Do My by Memph Bleak. They're both Rock Wilder beasts, which they flow together pretty well.
We already mentioned Be Faithful, Crooklyn Clan, Fat Man Scoop, Faith Evans.
Which is the ultimate party song. That song that you could be having the worst party ever, where you just feel that no one has any energy and you can't get anyone to dance. And when you drop this song, it changes everything and everyone goes crazy.
I think that one actually went platinum. I think they actually sold 1 million.
They actually cleared all those samples, according to Wikipedia, which is always correct.
DMX, Party Up.
That's another classic.
Always works.
And those probably, I play those in a row actually a lot. Be Faithful and Party Up, they keep the energy.
And To Let Me Clear My Throat, DJ Cool also. I mean, we talked about that not too long ago. Another money track that can go with Money Ain't a Thing is Ride With Me.
Although this one's kind of a little bit mellow.
You really gotta just play the chorus
Yeah.
of this one. You can't really get into the verse.
But people do always sing along to this. This is one of those where you gotta cut the crossfader, because people will sing along to this one.
Yeah. Along with Got Your Money, Old Dirty Bastard, and Khalees.
That's another one where you probably want to only play, definitely at least only one verse if you're going to play it that long.
Yeah. Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It. What else can I say? Huge. Let's see, Aerosmith, Run DMC, Walk This Way.
Which is a good rock segue if you want to play some rock after this, or if you're playing some rock and you want to go back into your old school hip hop.
Jump Around, House of Pain.
One of our first episodes that we did for Remix Report was on the Party Bangers remix of this, which is the one that we both play, I believe.
Yes. And Nelly, Hot in Here. Yeah.
So that's pretty much our list. I'm sure we forgot a ton of tracks. You could even debate if Hot in Here is old. Is that old school?
It came out in
Like 2000? No,
No,
not 2000.
Yeah.
No.
I was in high school when that
Really?
came out. It was 01 at the latest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it is. I consider pretty much old school, I guess, maybe 10 years old. So I guess it is about 10 years old now.
Yeah. It's getting
And
there.
there's a lot of tracks that we didn't mention, like Still Dre, DMX, It's All Good.
There's tons of tracks that I guess would still work, but might be like the B list. This would probably be the A list. Those would be
A-list celebrity
the
tracks.
B plus list maybe, or B list. Still would work great, and we'll definitely make another list of those in the future.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely tracks you guys should know.
So just let us know if we missed any obvious ones. Register, leave a comment, or email us remixreport@gmail.com.
Remixreport.com